Hello and welcome once again to the Joint Venture Insider Show. So this is recorded like live. I didn't tell you wouldn't know it wasn't live, but I am on a plane at the time that you are watching this because I am headed out to JVX, which hopefully a lot of you are as well. We'll get to that in a moment. But before that, I want to remind you that can submit your collaboration opportunities to the opportunity list for JVIC. You can go to ultimatejvlist.com/hub-enter. Of course, that link is in the show notes. Make sure everything you got summits, you got launches, you got giveaways, you got whatever, put them all in there because we want to share them with the JVIC community. There is nearly 1,000 people. It's, I think, 700 or so, but that's nearly 1,000. There's a lot of people in there. They're looking for partnerships. They're looking for people to team up with and promote. And that's why over 100 of them are flying out to California with me to be hanging out at JVX. So make sure you fill that out. And of course, also make sure you submit them to us. So that's guywhoknowsaguy.com/JVIS promo. There we go. There's the link there. guywhoknowsaguy.com/JVIS promo. So we can get you into this slideshow. So on to the slideshow. All right, JVX. That's coming up. That's Friday, soon. Coming up. I'm flying out today, Wednesday, because I'm on the team, but it actually starts on Friday. So there is still time. If you can get out there, then you can still get into JVX. So do check that out if you haven't already. It's going to be amazing. And if you are not there, you're going to hear all about it over this weekend and all about it afterwards. So you do not want to miss out on that. Kathy Burns doing Organized and Energized. She's doing a webinar. It's on October 25th. So this is coming up very, very soon. We've got Podcasting Your Passion, a webinar by Sam Liebowitz. So if you have people in your audience who are looking to create and launch podcasts, this is going to teach them how to do it. We all know the power, the value of podcasts. You're watching one right now after a fashion. So if your audience would be interested in this, definitely check it out. If you'd be interested in this, definitely check it out. Sam really knows his stuff. Definitely well worth connecting with. Michelle Margaret Marques doing their Mindset Mastery Summit. So the summit is October 27th to 31st. That's coming up pretty soon. But you can still get in on the launch process of that. So links are in the chat. And this, I also, we got this information very late in the game. I think we actually got it after the launch was underway. So reminder, if you have something coming up in the future, send it to us earlier. It's, a week before the event is a little bit late to get in. I'm sure this may get it out to some people, but plan February, March, that this is a good time to be telling us about things you're doing then. Now people are planning ahead. I know I certainly am. You tell me about a summit that's happening 3 weeks from now, I can't make it. So plan ahead. Let people know. I know that the biggest engagement tends to be once you're within the last week or two. But the people you most want, the busiest ones, the most successful entrepreneurs, they can't book a week in advance. They're busy. They need to put something on their calendar 3 months in advance. So start getting the message out. Early for that kind of thing. All right. Also, speaking of starting early, in January, sell books with Collabs. Looking for partners to promote that. So if people in your audience are authors and looking to use collaborations to sell more books, then Jess Kotzer has something really cool coming up. And of course, JVX. Let's not forget JVX. That is certainly coming up as well still. And something else I want to share. I don't have a slide for it, but it's in the show notes and it's my own thing, so I can share it. I have an Inner Circle program. The links in the show notes. Is $97 a month. It's a very low cost program with a 50% commission. So low cost, pretty decent commission. $50 a month or $47.50 a month for getting people in there. Pretty good deal. And what I do is a weekly 1 hour Ask Me Anything solution session because I'm the guy who knows a guy. I connect with a lot of people and I know a little bit about everything. So it's a great opportunity for people, newer to business to get answers, but also people who are more experienced. If they just got that one random thing like TikTok, I haven't gotten on that. How do I do that? Or how do what's the best platform for doing this thing? I didn't even realize it was a thing. Now I need to figure it out. I know a little bit about everything because I talk to everybody. I don't know a lot about anything, but I know a little bit about everything. And I also do a business concierge service. So people are often saying, who should I hire for this or that? I've got some good candidates. You don't have to go to Google or go to the internet. So There's links for that in the show notes as well, either to become a client if you're interested, or to share it, or both. 50% commission means bring in 2 people and it's free for you. So definitely check that out in the show notes. So enough about me. We have a pre-recorded, we're getting kind of inception level here. We have a pre-recorded interview on a pre-recorded show. I know it's getting deep here. So let me, but it's Marie Mack, which I'm very excited to be sharing this interview with you. I'm then going to be even more excited to meet her in person when I go out to California for JVX. So, but yeah, Marie is a wealth of knowledge, actually launching a program to teach JV manager skills, because there's not enough people out there who know how to do it, and a lot of people need this. So check this out. You are going to be very glad you did.
And now,
the owner and creator of JV Manager Certification. She is also a JV manager to the stars, so to speak. Not like actual Hollywood stars, but the more important stars, the stars in our field, coaches and trainers and people who make things happen. So Marie knows a bit about what's going on in the world, and I'm really excited to bring her here on the show. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you so much, Michael. Yes, I mean, my whole world is JVing. So I think we're in the right space for sure for this conversation.
Fantastic. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is you have a new program coming along, which I'm excited about, because one of the things I've run into is a lot of people say to me, hey, you want to be my JV manager? And I'm like, no, I don't. That's not me. I'm not the guy. I gather knowledge. I connect people. That's a different skill set. And they're like, great, who do you know? And I'm like, I don't know where they come from. And you are building a program to certify JV managers. So tell us a bit about what you're doing there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I get the same exact question. So I run joint venture programs for multiple online businesses. Absolutely love my job. However, I am limited that this is a service-based business, and I don't necessarily want all of those amazing people out there who are looking for support to be limited by the fact that you, me, a whole bunch of other amazing managers can't take on more people. So I am now certifying new people on the method that I found works best. I've been doing this for over 5 years. I've created my own proprietary way that I do joint venture management for others. So I'm just training everybody else, templates, guidance, all the great things so that people can get the support that they need out there in the world.
Great. Now, you say it's your way. Would this work whether it's a launch or embedded webinars or whatever, or does it only work with a certain type of partnership?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, it's about relationship building. I think most joint venture partnerships are around relationship building. This specifically is around how to have a conversation and create that relationship and the deal around it. I've used this model if it's in launches. I've used this model if it's, embedded webinars. I've used this model if people are looking for promo swaps. It's really about those bigger creating of relationships. And as a manager, making sure that we are helping our own, like the business owners themselves, to get the visibility that they need to scale business because of it. So it's kind of around, it can work in any space, really.
Fantastic. Yeah, that sounds like a huge asset. Definitely something we need. I know a few people have tried it in a few different ways, but I don't think, I'm not sure any of them were actually JV managers. So
yeah,
I think some of the challenges that the what it takes to be a JV manager and what it takes to be an entrepreneur building a program are usually not found in the same person. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've been a JV manager for many, many years, all kinds of business owners, and it's always about complementing personalities, right? Mm-hmm. Michael, you've said this multiple times. You're not a manager, you're a connector. It's beautiful and wonderful. I'm a connector too, but I love managing projects. Mm-hmm. I love managing the fact that we're going to make something powerful happen. I love managing teams, and all of that kind of comes in as a joint venture manager, as opposed to, a connector who just loves to talk with people. And that's your space, and you love it, and you're great at it. And I'm super thankful that you're a part of my world for sure.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So speaking of people I'm thankful to have in my world, I'd love to have you share some of what's working and what's new in the JV world. So what are you seeing that's new, as of the last, 2 years in the JV world that people people maybe haven't heard about or have heard about but don't know enough about? What
Yeah.
should people know about?
Thankfully, I talk to about 30 people a week inside of some kind of joint venture conversation, which just means that I have a really good pulse on things that are working well inside of the industry. And again, my industry is primarily online business owners, coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, people who have a service-based business. So just kind of prefacing that, that's where some of my, we'll say, very intricate stats are coming from. But one of the beautiful things, especially with launches, I'll say, is the fact that people are using newsletters to get on leaderboards. So if you are a JV person, leaderboards are always fun to get on, right? There's usually another incentive that also opens up a whole lot of different conversations because people see your name on that leaderboard. So you want to make sure you're on it. Newsletters are great because people are, and this is current, I'd say in the last 6 months, I've seen this happen. So very, very recent, doing a newsletter, and they're highlighting 3 or 4 different partners inside of that newsletter. They might do it daily. But what that allows them to do is in a promo window. So usually during a promotional time before a launch, you may have 2 weeks. Somebody with a newsletter is putting that promo in every single day. So 14 days. Some of our other partners who are doing solos, they might send twice. So they're getting 2 big blasts as opposed to a long drip of promotion. And I've seen it time and time again. I've managed 3 launches so far in the last quarter. And every single one of those launches, the top person was somebody who is doing consistent newsletters. So that is like huge in the JV world because most people are all about, the solo email, do the solo blast, get it out to everybody. But finding that newsletters are converting better is quite interesting.
Interesting. And so is it just getting opt-ins, or is it also getting getting sales?
Opt-ins and sales. Obviously, with most things, more opt-ins means more sales. It obviously depends on what the product is and that it's converting well. But the higher the opt-ins, by nature, higher the sales. So they might be getting on this top 2 or 3 of a leaderboard because their opt-ins are a little bit higher. And it's just because they're reminding their audience more consistently that there's something for them to take advantage of, as opposed to like a blast. If you think about it, in emails, at least I think it's 1 in 5 people open 1 in 5 emails. Maybe it's 1 in 7 now. I don't know. So if you only send 2 emails out about a launch and you're trying to get on the leaderboard, you're really missing out on the fact that people might not even see those 2 just because how busy inboxes are. So you kind of up your chances by saying it out there multiple times, even though you're doing 2 or 3 different partner promotions inside of the same email.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And let's talk also about what is a newsletter. Because I think some people, when they think of newsletter, they think about what they get from Merrill Lynch or something. That's new things happening in the market. You're like, okay, yeah, whatever. So what is a newsletter in our space, and what makes it not just a bunch of gobbledygook, but actually something valuable that people want to read?
Yeah, I think you're doing this. I started doing this as well for my own business. And the way that I put together a newsletter is you have a top part that basically gives some kind of information, education. For me, it's very much so about my business or something current that's happening, or general life things. I'm a mother, I'm a homeschooler, I've got a business, I've got clients. Like, this is a part of my world. So usually at the top, it's some kind of relationship building, we'll say, that's at the top. Then at the bottom, there are different sections that I put in there that say, hey, these are really cool tools or tips or something that's happening. And then it's a section below that where you can kind of just highlight 2 or 3 things. So the newsletter is really very much so dependent on how you want to serve your clients and who your clients are, who your audience is on your email list. But I think if you think about a newsletter, it's more about relationship building. And because you're relationship building consistently, people are also seeing the fact that you're introducing them to some kind of launch that's happening, or a freebie, or, the fact that there's a show that happens that Michael does and you should go check it out, whatever it might be. So is that how you do your newsletters too?
Yeah. So my newsletter is, I have some content at the top. And a lot of times the content I put at the top is very just off the cuff, authentic, like I do a social media post, like a personal social media post, not like a someone plans my social media kind of post.
Right.
Something will happen. I'll share a story, And then below that, I'll put various content and links. Unfortunately, the software I use doesn't actually give me good data on what's being clicked on, so I'm sort of shooting in the dark on that due to technology sophistication. But I have gotten feedback individually, people saying, I really appreciate what you're doing. I find it valuable, as opposed to a lot of times when you send out solo emails, you get a bunch of unsubscribes and people saying, what the heck is this? I signed up for you, not for this other stuff.
Yeah.
These are running the same programs that would be solo emails. People say, oh, thanks so much. I'm glad you shared with me these 5 programs, because now I can see them if I'm interested.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the online world, especially with joint venture partnerships, people email list subscribers, and I'm on tons of email lists as well. Email list subscribers are looking for the relationship. And joint venture partnerships are about the relationship. So if you think about the emails that are going out there in the JV world, if you're trying to create a relationship with somebody else, you're probably going to convert better just because they feel more connected. They feel more connected when you tell them about taking your kid to the zoo, or you feel more connected when you said, we had a really bad storm here and there was a hurricane. It was kind of crazy. Like, they feel connected, even though that doesn't necessarily have to do with their business. That's the connection that's happening. And I think, especially in the world, if I have to get on a soapbox for like half a minute, people are striving and they're looking for, and they're really craving the connection that we lost over the last couple of years. And having that as a focus in your emails, huge. It's huge for people. If somebody's still on your email list, they're choosing to be there. So taking the extra time to send something to them that's really going to be beneficial, just as that relationship you're building with them. And I'm thankful too, if they don't want to listen to me anymore, that's great. Unsubscribe, bless and release, go out into the world, find something else to look at. But allows me to know that the people on my list are really resonating. And that means when I'm making suggestions, hey, you should go check out this launch, they're going to say, great, because Marie said so, I'm going to go do that. So it's just it's a fascinating, amazing way that things have transitioned over the years. I being a JV manager for 5 years, I've seen it, 2018, all the things that were happening there, and then pandemic world, like what in the world was that? And now we're kind of coming on the other side of that, and relationships are like the biggest space, I think, in there. So
I think also the proliferation of partners, you run into the situation of, if everyone's sending the same swipe copy, then your consumer opens their email and they've got the same email 4 times from 4 different people, but it's the same email. And that has a weird vibe to it. I mean, if you're in the business, you're okay, I see what's happening. If you're not in the business, you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah. And it really does. I mean, it turns people off. And I guess people who aren't in the business, they're just on an email list because they're interested about it. It's confusing. And then for the partners, they're not getting the visibility, and they get somebody to unsubscribe where they might have taken the extra time or had somebody on their team just modify that email a little bit more to still produce good results, but really focusing on the relationship side of things. So,
And so what are the JV formats, among launch or embedded webinars or freebie swaps or whatever? What are some of the JV formats you're seeing that are working best lately?
Yeah, I just had a really great call with a partner this week. And one of the things that's working best is very short, quick email blasts about some kind of lead magnet. So think a PDF, think about a checklist, think about that. It's fascinating. So we have a deal we're going to give a try. He said, if we both send at the same date and time on a Saturday morning, this is what this email, this is what this PDF looks like. And the email's super short. Just send out that blast. He's like, it's converting massively because both audiences are kind of converting and seeing each other at the same time. So that's something that we're testing out.
And so each one's promoting the other one's freebie?
The other one's stuff. Yeah. So like an email swap.
Yep.
But it goes straight to a lead generation tool, whatever that might be. Maybe it's a PDF, usually not to a masterclass, usually not to a webinar, pre-recorded or anything. Masterclasses and webinars are beautiful and wonderful, but they're time commitments for our email subscribers. So if we can make it a very easy ask, I always say that, like, this is an easy ask, right? Downloadable checklist, some kind of easy digestible PDF, some kind of template. Templates are converting really well. Those are kind of interesting things that have happened just in this past week. We're like, great, let's try it. Like, why wouldn't we?
And just a
it's
simple
kind of
funnel, just
interesting.
straight to a PDF on the list, and then wherever the list goes.
Yep, and then the funnel that goes into there. Sometimes that checklist PDF might go to a couple upsells. You know, easy ask for people. If they choose to do it, great. If not, they still get that free gift. But I think as business owners, we always kind of want to maximize our visibility for those people. So it makes sense to just say, hey, if you'd like to buy this for $11, we've got this thing. So it's just a good use of time.
And I love that, just from especially for the newer entrepreneurs, you know, the ones who don't have 100,000 person lists and a team of 6 people, the ones where it's themselves, and maybe they got a 1,000 person list. You know, anyone can make a PDF and share some knowledge and find a partner with a similar size list or different size list, even if it's, you know, I gain 200, you gain 100. It didn't cost much, and it feels like a value add, because, hey, have you met my friend Marie? She's got this great thing. You should go get it. It's free, no obligation, no catch. So yes, that could be really valuable.
And I think the biggest thing for that, and I'll say this, and then I know we kind of have to go, but at the same time, like, those smaller list sizes, they have a lot of power in them. Usually those conversion rates and the click-through rates are really high. The open rates are really high because those smaller lists are very intimate with their owners. So even if you have a small list, know that you have power behind you, and don't feel bad about going up to that person who has 10,000 or 50,000 and saying, I can send, but I can send at this click-through rate, or I can send at this opt-in rate. And that's where the power comes in, because I'm going to go ahead and guarantee somebody with 10,000 who's getting 100 leads from you, they don't care if you have 1,000 list or you have 50,000 on your list. They're looking for the leads. So I'm just going to soapbox that for a second.
And so if people want to connect with you or learn more about the JV Manager certification, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so jvmanagercertification.com. There's information there. And inside of that, there's also a contact form. So you can always reach out, say hello. I'm also on LinkedIn. My name is Marie Mack on LinkedIn, so that's exciting. But LinkedIn is kind of my primary social media space. So reach out, say hello.
Fantastic. And of course, the link for the JV Manager certification is in the show notes as well. So
yay.
Thank you so much for being on the show. This is awesome, as always.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael.